Radio Free Skaro.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 717. I am Steven at Chicago TARDIS.
And I am Paul at Chicago TARDIS.
I just realized I flew here on a Boeing 717.
Did you really?
I did. I remember looking at the little, pamphlet in the back of the seat that they tell you to pull out to look at when they're.
You're the one person on the plane who looks at that.
I did it. Well, because I was standing. Sitting in the aisle, in the seat rather, and there's someone right there.
Yeah.
One of the flight attendants is like,
oh yeah, when you're right next to the flight attendant, you don't want to
Yeah. Because I'm looking around and no one else is they're just looking at their phones or looking out the windows. No one's paying attention to these people. It's like, no, I'm doing it. I'm taking it out.
You should have taken notes. You should have pulled out a little notepad and pen and oh, okay, so this is what I do.
That might have been mockery.
You think?
Maybe, I don't know. I would have felt maybe oh no.
You could have pulled it off.
Maybe we would have had a laugh together. I don't know. Anyway, how you doing? How was your Chicago TARDIS so far?
It's been amazing. Mm-hmm. I've had a wonderful day and an hour so far. It's
late Saturday morning. We're recording this right now. Yeah.
Yesterday was my busy day. And I did 2 interviews and had a couple of kind of meetings with people and chats with people.
Ooh. It's a secret meeting?
No, nothing formal. Just
are you the new showrunner of Doctor Who?
Well, I couldn't possibly say, but next year we're bringing back the pteroleptals. So,
right. Nobody ever says to bring back the pteroleptals.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. How has your con been so far?
Well, it's been good. Erica's here as well. Mm-hmm. She's just chosen this weekend to sort of say, you know what, let's just relax for a little bit because she's had a very strenuous few weeks. So she hasn't actually enjoyed the convention that much, which has kind of freed me up a little bit to just go sit in panels, which is something I rarely do.
Yeah, I find that the more I get involved at a place like this, the less I actually get to see the con, mm-hmm. Which is okay, I guess. But you do miss something,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I did interview Tosin Cole,
yes.
Which you will be hearing, dear listeners, at the end of this podcast. On stage, he was the 11 a.m. I dare say I think I got him a little more alert and fresh just as the jet lag was about to set in, I think. And then I think he probably had to have a nap. But he brightened up for your panel.
Well, he was, both he and Arthur were very tired at the beginning of my panel.
Arthur Darvill,
course, yeah. And came in feeling a bit jet lagged because mine was at 5 p.m., which was quite late for them. But they perked up, and it was great.
It was a great panel.
It was like watching a bromance unfold before us.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, these 2 actors just on stage, discovering their own careers.
Yeah, discovering how much they have in common and talking about that. So.
Yeah, they've been through the war.
Yeah.
The night shoots, and they were just commiserating at times. You could tell that there was some sort of bond.
There was an understanding that no one else in the room could possibly share.
Yeah. It astounded me when I thought about it that, Arthur Darvill was last on Doctor Who 7 years ago.
Yeah.
7 years ago.
But, you could tell by the audience, and I mean, all the questions are for him from the audience, that people have not forgotten.
Yeah.
Or forgiven. No, I'm just kidding.
And they've been waiting for 7 years.
They've been waiting for 7 years to ask him these questions, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job actually during that because, a few. I think there were probably a few more questions for Arthur than Tosin, but you then sort of stopped proceedings and then threw it over to Tosin to sort of ask the same question. I thought that was very, very well done.
Thank you.
Involve him in the Q&A a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want the guests to feel like they're inconsequential.
Yeah.
And there are people in the audience who are probably very interested in what Tosin has to say or what someone else would have to say. So, you don't want it to just be dominated by one voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a good panel. Your class one earlier in the day which also involves there were 2 people and then 3, which is always fun when you show up for a panel and not everyone's there.
Yeah. Well, and here's a little behind the scenes trivia. There was only one when I went out on stage, and I literally watched one person arrive as I was saying the first person's name, so then I was able to say the second person's name. And the third person came 20 minutes late. Something like that.
Vivian and Opara came a little bit late.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're being so discreet about it. Like
it happened in front of people.
It happened in front of people. Yeah. So, Vivian was really late, but she was just jet lag, she said, and other stuff. But
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Friday morning is an early, because I think a lot of people arrive on Thursday nights.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah, and I mean, some people I think were arriving on Friday. So because I was watching people get here.
Oh, I know. Every time I walk out of the hotel and walk back in, there'd be people like coming in with suitcases and stuff. So like my Tosin Cole panel wasn't quite as full as your Tosin and Arthur, because I think a lot of people had arrived post Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
because it is still at its heart a regional convention. A lot of people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people drive in. We, from what I understand, that people from Wisconsin, because we're only about an hour from Wisconsin. Yep. People from Michigan is only a couple hours away. So I think it's and especially with that history of Visions being kind of the big Who convention for a while, that it really has that kind of long-standing fan base.
I really liked that class panel. I enjoyed the chemistry and just how charming Sophie and Greg were, and later Vivian on that. Like, they were just a lovable little cast.
They really did seem like they like each other. Yeah. And actually, that was true, because after the panel was done, we went to the green room and were kind of having lunch, and they hadn't seen each other for a while.
Yeah.
And it was like a bunch of old friends catching up. It was like, what is you doing? How's your girlfriend? How's your boyfriend?
Aww.
What's going on in your life? But they were very interested in each other, and it was really nice to see. I think there's this. I don't think this happens in the Doctor Who community too often. I think in other celebrity kind of fandoms, celebrities are often seen as kind of distant. They don't have the kinds of warm feelings that fans do.
There's a superficiality to it.
That's a great word. But that is not at all what I saw from Greg and Sophie and Vivian, who were just, they got there, they were hugging, they were, exchanging, they were showing pictures of people. Yeah, like it was like Thanksgiving. Right. Like it really was.
Yeah, it may be. I mean, they talked a bit about it, or maybe they didn't talk a bit about how they couldn't. Season 2 didn't happen, and so like Greg was like very cagey about
what might have been.
Can I even say anything? Like, that's just like, it's sad in a way. Like seeing that cast up there made me think. Maybe I'm not a YA fan, so maybe class wasn't exactly geared towards me. But I think a lot of people really enjoyed that show, and I think maybe they should have got a second season out of that.
Yeah, I'd recommend rewatching it. I rewatched it before the panel, and it is really well worth a rewatch. There's a couple episodes that are just okay, but like, it starts and ends really well.
Yeah.
And it really did deserve, I think, a second season. And I'll say I've shown it in class because the last day we talk about Doctor Who spin-offs.
Right.
And so they watch Torchwood, Everything Changes at home, and then we watch Class, episode 1 in class, and talk about it. And it so resonates with the 18-year-olds. Like, they intuitively understand this show. I think they like it more than Doctor Who in my Doctor Who class.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there we go. That should have been the focus group, but that's who it should have been marketed to.
Well,
and I feel like maybe it wasn't.
I feel like it wasn't.
Yeah.
I feel like they went for old school Doctor Who fans, and that's not the audience for it.
Yeah, like, hey, we don't have Doctor Who this year, but we have a Doctor Who spinoff, which is not at all like Doctor Who. But Doctor Who is in it for like 3.5 minutes at the end of one episode. But apart from that,
yeah, but it's going to have a lot of stuff that a bunch of old Doctor Who fans aren't going to like. So enjoy.
Yeah. Tragedy, really. As you were saying, I perked up, of course, when Sophie Hawkins mentioned Canada, because
of course,
because it actually did premiere in October in Canada, which is why we reviewed it on Radio Free Skaro at the time, because it wasn't in BBC America until like the April or something like that, and I think I did get actually good viewing figures in Canada, because it was the hot and current thing at the time, and oddly enough, Canada treated the best out of America
isn't
or
that
the UK.
most
even.
Canadian thing to do? Just to
to treat everything
to treat everything with kindness.
Yeah, exactly. How are your? What? No, I should say that I don't know anything for sure.
Yeah.
But stay tuned early this week, I suppose, the beginning of December, for apparent broadcast info regarding Doctor Who Series 12.
Oh my goodness!
I know. Well, I mean that's more because like it's December 1st.
They're going to have to tell us at some point,
when
it's going to be on.
So it might happen early next week. But we talked just before recording. You saw the Series 12 trailer a while ago. That being a week ago, I guess.
I saw it when it came out. Yeah, the week it came out.
And you haven't watched it since. But
no, I have not.
What are your thoughts that you remember anyway?
Well, it looks very action oriented, which is probably just the trailer because they do that in the trailers. I really liked, although it was just a split second, the redesigned Cyberman.
Yes.
Which I'm hoping they bring. Like I did not, and I'm maybe going to be controversial, but I did not really like the Davies Cybermen. I much prefer the Cybermen where you can see the people in it because I think that's much scarier and creepier.
Right.
And these just look like the giant robot from the Tom Baker
They
episode.
still are kind of automaton.
Yeah. But I'm hoping they kind of go back to that with the new ones. They looked a little like they were doing that. Loved the tuxes. Which is
Fancy
all
dress.
everyone is talking about is on my wall as far as I can tell. Jadoon. I love the Jadoon. Yeah.
I like the period. I said this last week about how there's the that scorpion running around what looks to be Paris 1943.
Yes, yeah.
And I think it's Yaz wearing like a period formal dress or something. And my main complaint last year with the historicals is that no one ever dressed up in period costume when they were in like the Witchfinders or Demons of the Punjab or anything like that. But now we have costumes, period appropriate costumes.
Well, they must have been listening to Radio Free Skaro.
I can only assume that once again
Chibnall's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Shapansky said it.
Why haven't we been doing this before? So
no, I'm obviously excited about Series 12,
Yeah.
but the trailer really amped me up.
Yeah.
And it feels like and it's just a trailer, but it really does feel like they seem to have taken some of the criticism from Series 11, some of which was valid, some of which wasn't, and maybe have integrated it to make it a little bit more. I don't know, like
there's a bit more pop to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I don't think it needed. I actually really liked Series 11, and I liked the kind of long shots of planets.
I love long. I would happily watch a whole show of long shots of planets.
Especially with that cinematography.
Yeah.
My God, just the ghost monuments.
Oh yeah,
vistas were incredible.
Yeah.
But it seemed like there was going to be a lot more flash and bang,
which is
I won't say no to it.
Exactly. What else is happening? Before I'm looking at our news list here, which is like Gallifrey. What announcements? It's mostly guest announcements. A big finish. It's mostly announcements. Everyone. Pearl Mackey's coming to Gallifrey 1.
Yay!
That's awesome. That's awesome news.
She came to Chicago TARDIS last year.
She was here last year.
Did you interview her?
I did not interview her.
I did not interview her either.
Kids interviewed her.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
The kids interview panel at Chicago TARDIS is a highlight.
That's a new.
It's a new couple years.
Yeah, because Sylvester McCoy is.
And I think because Colin Baker did it 2 years ago.
Yes.
And that was hilarious.
Was it? Okay.
Because I think kids really like Colin Baker. He kind of looks like Santa Claus. And
just a little bit.
Without the beard, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Pearl
Mackey.
Mackey, everyone loves Pearl Mackey.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I think the kids are going to be a little scared of Sylvester McCoy.
You think so?
In a good way. I think they kind of look at him like this. Who is this person making bird sounds? Like, why is he whipping spoons out of his pocket? Like, what is happening right now?
This traditional clown, so to speak.
Yeah.
What? But he was on kids' TV back in the 80s with Tiswas and, of course, Doctor Who, so I don't, and everyone loves Radagast the Brown.
Oh, I don't
if you're
think,
a kid, so.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to hate him. I think it's that kind of kids
right.
fear but also love wrapped up together.
Yeah, I just love that there are kids talking to doctors that were like current doctors 30 years ago.
That's really interesting.
That just makes Doctor Who such a timeless piece.
Yeah.
That
when they ask such weird questions that you'd never get at a regular panel.
Really?
like someone asked Colin Baker. I will remember this till the day I die. Someone asked Colin Baker, "Would you rather fly or be invisible?" And he said, "I think I'd rather fly." And the kid said, "You're wrong."
You're wrong.
He corrected his opinion.
That's amazing.
And I brought the house down.
Right.
It was amazing.
Yeah, the funny thing is that probably a lot of people would actually do that.
Yeah.
As adults.
I may have actually gotten it wrong. Maybe he said invisible.
Oh,
but
but
the punchline is the kid said that you're wrong.
So. Whatever you said, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And Sophie Hopkins just walked by.
Right.
And that's one of the things I really like about Chicago TARDIS is that, it feels like one of those old-fashioned conventions where, the stars of Doctor Who are just kind of walking around and hanging out.
I know. It is cool. The barriers are down.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tosin Cole actually before our interview, and, because I think he'd just gone for breakfast at that point. And, people are like, is that, I think it is him. I don't want to bother him. That sort of thing. I sort of said, there's almost with current actors who are in the show, perhaps, that there's almost invisible velvet ropes in between. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's him. I could just walk up and talk to him. I should just give him his space.
That's a very Midwestern thing.
That's what I was going to say too. Yeah, it's that as well.
And you notice this when people are asking questions. I don't go to that many conventions in New York, and I'm not picking on New York, but
well, you should.
But everyone, or almost everyone, when they first ask a question here is like, "Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
it's really nice to see you."
Exactly.
And at the end, they're like, "Thank you very much." It's just very polite
for traveling all this way to come see us.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you go to a big con, it's like, "What is your favorite color?"
Yeah.
Explain your rationale for this.
Yeah, exactly. It is kind of a nice mood. Also, hey, coming to Gallifrey One, I should mention Tracy Ann Oberum, Tilly Steele from The Witchfinders, Tracy Simpson.
Yes.
I don't remember her official title, but she was production manager or something back in the 2011. Margaret Hayhoe, who's a legend in assistant floor manager in Classic Who. I think she's been responsible for getting about a third of Toby Haydock's interview guests for Who's Round over the years. She knows everyone. There's a whole bunch of Star Trek guests. Are you a Star
Oh yes.
Okay.
I'm a huge Star Trek fan
because I saw that. So it's not it's a meet and greet, kind of like what they did with Babylon 5 last year. There won't be a panel, I don't think, but they had a meet and greet after the Babylon 5 panel with all those
with
stars.
all of them. Yeah.
And this year they're doing the same thing, except not with who you probably would think. Let's get Jonathan Frakes or something like that. No, Connor Trenier. Who's Trip from Enterprise, and Anthony
Montgomery.
Anthony Montgomery, who was, what's his...
the kid.
The kid, the navigator, or the pilot on Enterprise as well.
I can't remember his name.
No.
I'm so sorry.
I grew to appreciate Enterprise. I watched it for the first time before Discovery came out, expecting it to be terrible.
It's really not.
Well, it is in some places.
Yes, it is in some places, and the theme song is.
I can't do the theme song.
Atrocious.
I listened to it literally twice. Once for the first episode, and then once at the end. I'm thinking, this is the last one. I might as well listen to it all. Let's do it. Oh, but I felt like season 3 that
really picked up with the Zindi.
Yeah. And it's remarkable because that was in 2003, I think. Mm-hmm. And that together with Battlestar Galactica was this post 9/11.
Yeah,
really
beginning
dark feeling.
Beginning of Iraq War, or not beginning of Iraq War, but it was the beginning of the Iraq War. Yeah. Kind of and playing with a lot of those kind of themes of whether we're the good guys or the bad guys.
Yeah.
Is really It was doing some really smart stuff. And then season 4 of Enterprise, they started kind of playing with the old series a bit more, and doing scenes from the Tholian Web and bringing kind of some of the classic back,
leaning into the prequel,
which I talked with Brandon Braga a couple years ago, which I'm not name dropping, I swear, but it's just one of the weird perks of my job is that I occasionally get to talk to producers and things. And we talked a little bit about what would have happened on Enterprise, and they were going to lean more into that prequel stuff.
Interesting.
And kind of bring that in. Their last episode was just
I don't count that. Again.
And it was really last minute because they were like, we wanted to wrap up the series. Mm-hmm. So
I feel it's a coda. That's a coda. Whereas there's a 2-parter, I think, and then there's a big speech from Jonathan Archer
Yeah.
to a thing and says, "Hey, we're all one together here in this federation."
Yeah.
And there we go, perfect. Just
That's
stop
the
it
end.
right there.
It's like the Harry Potter epilogue. It just doesn't really count.
No, it doesn't count. Don't worry about it. The one that I knew people would plot over, and they did, is Jeffrey Toombs, who was Wayu
Yes,
in Deep
yes.
Space Nine and a whole bunch of things in a whole bunch of other places.
I met him at a Star Trek con.
Right.
I went to specifically for him because I love him, and got him to sign. Got a picture with him. Got him to sign the picture. I do the photograph thing. I know a lot of people don't, but
Right.
I like it. He was very nice.
Yeah.
And just like he has such a little cult following.
I know.
Of people that love his guest roles. I think if he was ever a star of something, it might ruin the luster.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Mark Shepard, who was like
Yeah.
a guest in everything but a star of nothing, and so
Yeah.
therefore he could flit about and sort of like
Yeah, and everyone
dabble.
loves when they pop up in something.
Yeah. So that's people will enjoy that, I think.
And I believe,
Yes.
not to preempt your announcement.
No. There's no announcement.
Robert O'Reilly, is that
Yes,
his
Gowron himself.
So I have a story about that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how many people had the Star Trek Interactive VCR board game.
I
but
wish I did.
I was a big fan.
Right.
I still have mine.
Uh-huh.
I sometimes bring it out in class
Right.
and talk to my students about it.
Uh-huh.
And they're very confused. What's the VCR? And he plays a Klingon, not Gowron, a different Klingon.
Unmistakable with that stare,
With that stare.
coming through the makeup.
And I that's really, I mean, I love Gowron, but I also love Robert O'Reilly in that role. And I brought that in. I brought the tape of the interactive VCR board game in for him to sign.
Right.
And we had a great conversation about making it and all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I know him. Like, I know him from Star Trek, but I know
Yeah.
him from playing that board game over and over and over again.
It's kind of like knowing Anthony Ainley from Destiny of the Doctors and not his TV roles.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Like, you just barely get a hint of him.
Right. Oh, well, that's fab. And Nicole DeBoer, who was, of course, Dax in season, and she's Canadian. This is why I'm required to mention her as well. You're looking for Anthony Montgomery's Travis Mayweather. Travis Mayweather.
Get Travis Mayweather.
Yeah, never got promoted. 7 years, never got promoted.
Well, only 4 years, to be fair.
4 years. Who was I thinking never got promoted? Somebody. Harry Kim never got promoted.
Harry Kim,
7 years
Ensign
of
Harry
Voyager.
Kim, yeah.
Like no field promotions whatsoever.
No.
That says a lot about Harry Kim, who won't be there. Well, it's also coming. There's a whole bunch of Big Finish stuff. Companion sets of the first and 13th Doctors are coming out in early 2020 for the figurines. I've seen a whole bunch of figurines
Yes.
in the dealer's room there. A lot of people are eating those up because they don't
Yeah.
necessarily are available here in this parts of the world.
It's hard to find them,
Yeah.
which is also why they're so expensive, I think. And some of them are new. I've never seen a Harry Sullivan figure, so...
the character options ones.
Yes.
They're
is
in
that what you're talking about? That's not what you're talking about.
That was a different one. There's I'm talking about. There's like these little they're tiny-ish. They're on little base plates, like
the Eagle Moss.
the Eagle Moss ones from
Yes.
Hero Collector. Yeah, those ones.
I have a very good friend who loves the Eagle Moss.
Really?
Yeah, he will send me pictures.
There's a
of
whole
his collection.
room full of them over there.
Yeah. I don't even want to get started because there's so many of them.
There are. I think they started coming out with the magazine, didn't they?
Yes.
In the UK, yeah.
Yeah.
And every time I pop over there, all 2 times, I would sort of see them in Forbidden
Yeah,
Planet.
if you pop into Forbidden Planet, they've always got the past couple of them. So.
Yeah, and I can't imagine. Oh, here's like issue 100. I think you had to get 100 of these things. Well, now you can actually just buy them on the.
Well, and
on the sets.
they do have very obscure aliens and characters. I love. They have the Sensorite. Like,
Yeah.
where else are you going to get a Sensorite
Exactly.
figure, you know?
Croton.
A Croton,
Yep.
yeah. I'm waiting for an Alpha Centauri. I don't know if they've come out with an Alpha Centauri
You
yet.
have to think they would have, right?
I would have thought so, but I haven't found one. But maybe I just haven't looked hard enough. Listeners, if you can find one,
Yeah,
get in touch.
Let us know. The ones that came out was, of course, the first TARDIS Time Team and then the current TARDIS Time Team. Which I want to say, I look at these now, and I remember somebody did a teaser pic of action figures, and I can't remember now if it was these Hero Collector ones or if it was the character options figures. But But Tosin Cole said on my panel that sometime in the spring, apparently, is when his action figure will be coming out.
Good.
So, Action Dolly fans, be vigilant. Speaking of class,
Yes.
2 more series of class are coming to Big
yes.
Finish in April 2020. So that's awesome that they're continuing on doing that as well.
And from the interview yesterday, they said that there's going to be a more kind of group interaction. Because I know the last couple were just duos, which were great, but you kind of miss the chemistry of the group. So they're going to be doing more group work.
That's cool. Yeah, like the Detained was the episode that I think I liked the most from class, the one they were all stuck in the same room.
Yes. It's an excellent episode.
Actually, those 2 episodes, that one.
Because there's the one, and then there's one with Miss Quill.
Here's what happened with my day. I went off and fought monsters and stuff like that. Yeah.
They're both very good episodes.
They are. Yeah. Also, The Prisoner, Volume 3 is out now from Big Finish. That came out earlier. And last but not least, the Doctor Who Infinity, which launched about a year ago, I want to say, like on PC and Mac and platform and on Steam and stuff. It is now fully launched.
Oh, excellent.
On mobile now, too. So you can, that was the popular medium for its predecessor, Doctor Who Legacy. So that's available in the App Store.
And they have
now.
Actual Doctor Who stars acting in that.
They have that. They have actual proper like Doctor Who comic writers writing the stories for them and stuff. Yeah, it's a really thorough game, and now it's available on mobile.
It's nice that like a lot of the stuff that's coming out are being made by fans who obviously know the series. They know what they're. It's not just junky stuff that they're trying to just sell. You know, like this is a labor of love. You know.
Oh, it's. I mean, just this morning. So, probably didn't see this, obviously, but I'll try and explain it as best I can. So there is a photo of a local to Edmonton elementary school, and they said they were doing with the Tell Us World of Science, it's like the Knowledgeum kind of thing. They brought like by their mobile planetarium, which kind of looks like just an inflatable thing, and probably you can go inside and look at stars in the sky and stuff. But it was this big kind of green inflatable blob, and I quote tweeted this and go, local school, elementary school preps for live production of The Creature from the Pit.
Absolutely.
Within minutes, Rob Ritchie, who does like the 3D models and like the animation for the DVDs and stuff, tweets it back and says, "You're welcome," with the picture tinted green, and then Tom Baker actually blowing into the thing on the monster, like within minutes.
I love the Doctor Who fan community. I love it.
And they're pros. They're pros and they're fans.
Yeah.
So for some reason I thought, yes, I'm just going to grab that screen grab from Creature from the Pit and plop it in, and this like the fact that he had it ready.
That's the questionable thing.
Leads me to believe that season 17 is coming.
Is on its way.
See, this is what I'm thinking.
Oh
now.
yeah.
Why would he have those elements?
Very strategic.
Yeah.
Strategic thinking.
I've plucked that out of the air. So
remind me not to play the Star Trek Interactive VCR board game with you, because you would kick my ass.
I don't know about that, but what else has happened? What do you want to plug? Anything to plug? How's the class? You just did the panel you did.
I just
morning.
did the Doctor Who Club at DePaul University, which is the club that I'm the faculty advisor for. Did their annual panel. I would say this was the best one yet. We had a lot of people in the room. There were probably 30. No, maybe not 30. 20 people in the audience. But the students were really engaged. They didn't know what questions I was going to ask. We brainstormed a little bit, and then I decided to just throw them some curveballs.
Nice.
And we just kind of talked about what it's like being a Gen Z fan and how they interact with Doctor Who, how they got into Doctor Who. And I'm constantly impressed with how thoughtful the students at DePaul are, and especially the ones in Doctor Who Club. And I can't help but think that Doctor Who has something to do with that. They either get into Doctor Who because they are thoughtful, or but it was just a great conversation. And the audience was really invested. We had a great conversation kind of in the question and answer session.
Right. I still, to this day, it's been years now, I still can't believe you have a university class on Doctor Who.
It's really a dream come true. I have to say, and it's every day. I never complain about that class. Not only because there's very little to complain about, but also because it's just such a privilege, and I know it is, to be able to do something like that. So I do always try and think about what are students going to like from Classic Who, and
Right.
how do I present this? But I was trying to throw new things in there just to kind of experiment.
Right.
The Time Monster was a failure. I
Sorry,
will say
Liz.
that.
Yeah.
That was a failure. But I think the Green Death is going to be the winner this year. So
Interesting. Do you like take sometimes like let's take a really historically derided story,
yeah,
like Creature from the Pit per se, and
I
throw
do.
it at them? Or
I have to say I've never done Creature from the Pit. No, I actually like Creature from the Pit. I think it's got some really good ecological messages in it. But I don't think the students would react very well to Erato and Erato's appendage. And I feel like that would derail any conversation we had.
some things don't age as well as we'd like them to.
I'll say, though, so every other year I get to do a study abroad
Yeah.
with this class. So we go to London and we go to Cardiff. And this year, it was an absolutely amazing coincidence that there was we go to Aldbourne, which is where they filmed The Demons.
Yeah.
And the day we were going to Aldbourne, there was a Doctor Who fan event.
No way.
Katie Manning, John Levine, Richard Franklin, and then I'm going to forget her name, the White Witch.
Dolores Heyman.
Dolores Heyman were all there. She had just turned 90 or 91, but had some very serious things to say about Tom Baker. Yes. So I got to take the students, and they met all of these actors, and I saw these filming locations. And so when I was meeting Katie again today, she remembered them, and she said it was so nice to meet kind of the young fans, and she said, "Get off your phone."
Off your phone.
Yep. So get off your phone and look around the world once in a while.
Sage advice from Katie Manning and from all of us, But, listen to this podcast on your phone if that's...
Yeah, I mean, present company accepted, of course.
Exactly. Paul, it's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you, Stephen. This is great.
Thank you for joining me. Anything you want to plug? Where can you find you on the internet?
Yeah, sure. I do have a Doctor Who book coming out in February, but I'm going to put an asterisk on that one and say, wait... I know this is not a very, pluggy thing to do, but it's only coming out in hardcover, and it's academically priced, which means that the hardcover, it's 190 pages, and it's $103, which I think is maybe a little extreme.
It's $1 a page.
But I've been promised that the paperback, which will be much more reasonably priced, will be out within 8 months.
Okay.
So wait for it. But it's called... Who's Watching, and it's about, and it was written by myself and a friend of mine, based on a conversation and a panel at Galley a couple years ago, where we're interested in looking at how fans' opinions about particular episodes of Doctor Who change over time. So, the classic stories, the gunfighters. Was kind of loathed in the 80s because of the Peter Haining book.
Yes.
And then when people watched it, they're like, yeah, this isn't great, but it's also not the worst episode of Doctor Who ever. So, what sparks fans to change their opinion, and how do opinions change over time? And so we kind of investigated that, and there's 4 chapters that are maybe a little more academic, a little more scholarly, and then there's 8 chapters that are kind of fan opinion pieces that we wrote. And then there's 4 conversations that my friend and I have about these topics. So we're really excited. We tried something experimental, tried something new with it.
Right. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
It's called Who's Watching. It's coming out from Bloomsbury in February.
Well, all right. In hardcover only, but wait.
Yeah, and you'll be tempted because it'll say, you can buy the ebook, also $103. This is the reality of academic publishing. Is even if you publish something that's not for academics, they're like, they don't understand.
Weird.
Yeah.
And interesting. But well written, I'll bet. Because it's
Well,
from
I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to send anyone a PDF.
Oh,
I should not have said that on your show, but no, I will, because I don't make any money from it anyway,
Right.
and I just want people to read it, and I want people to get it out there. So
wow.
Yeah.
I've never seen a plug to say, don't buy my book.
So
but
my
we've
plug was,
had it.
don't buy my book. I'll send it to you for free. I'm really the worst salesman of myself.
This is why people have agents, Paul. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
After the break, it's my interview with Tosin Cole from Chicago TARDIS. Will you please welcome, returning in the role of Ryan Sinclair on Doctor Who Series 12 in early 2020, it's Tosin Cole.
Hey, how you guys doing? You guys all right? Yes.
How you doing?
I'm all right, man. A bit jet lagged, but good to go. Good to go. Yeah.
It's a little more intimate experience than like San Diego was.
I know, right? It's like more intimate. I can see everyone's faces. I can see who's answering questions or whatever. But yeah, San Diego was amazing. It was like just a big pitch black room. Couldn't see nothing, just but lights and noises.
And you couldn't talk about anything.
Couldn't say nothing. Couldn't say nothing. Couldn't say what jobs we had. Couldn't say anything. Mm-hmm. It was like sworn to secrecy. But if you met me after, I probably would have told you everything. I just had to. I just had to pretend like I was keeping a secret on stage. After that, I'll tell you anything.
Well, it's good that you're here then, because so we've all seen the Series 12 trailer, right?
Yeah. You guys excited? You should be.
That took a long time and a lot of work to make that.
Yeah. 10 months. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10 months of filming. Literally, we just finished filming, October just gone?
Yeah.
And so literally after that, they just kind of pieced everything together. And even I was surprised. I was like, oh, yeah, we did that. I didn't remember that. Yeah, it's been so long.
Did you watch the trailer at all?
I did, but I found out late. I found out like 2 days late. Can't remember what happened. Then like Matt Stratton was like, oh, have you seen the trailer? I was like, the trailer's out. He's like, yeah, like it was on Doctor Who Day. And I was like, oh, I've totally missed that. Like, because I was just like sleeping for like a whole month. After we finished, I've just been sleeping. And he was like, you missed it. It was Doctor Who Day. I was like, yeah, actually, I did see it. Then he sent it to me and I was like, yeah, I didn't see it. It's the first time I'm seeing it, so yeah.
But you were in it though, so like...
I was in it. That's the most important thing. I was in it. It doesn't matter if I saw it. I was in it.
Yeah.
And you guys saw me in it. And that's the icing on the cake. That's the most important thing.
So let's see. Think about this trailer here. So it starts off. You're in a tux.
Yes. Getting my James Bond on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard there was hiring, so I had to spice it up a bit.
Right. I'm guessing that was the one you shot in South Africa.
Yeah, we shot that in South Africa, which was amazing. So that was like the first. Yeah, that was like the first shoot. Yeah, so the first shoot.
January, wasn't it?
Yeah, January. Yeah, so we just like dived in South Africa, which is lovely in January. So after Christmas, it's all cold in England. You get to go to the tropic South Africa and Cape Town, and yeah, man, it was lovely, man. It was lovely.
Mm-hmm. And there's Lenny Henry firing a gun out of a limo.
Yes, Lenny Henry.
Sir Lenny Henry. Yeah.
Yes, Sir Lenny Henry. Let me put some respect on it. Sir Lenny Henry. Yeah, he's amazing, man. A true gentleman in and out, like the friendly giant. Like him and Brad are like both come from comedic backgrounds. So it was just like a shoot of them telling jokes and telling stories about how they came up and stuff like that. So it was amazing.
He actually played Doctor Who in a spoof on the Lenny Henry show in the 1980s. Yeah.
Okay, that was before my time. That was way before.
Yeah. It's on YouTube.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm a 90s baby. I'm so sorry, but that was way before my time. Yeah. I wasn't even an idea then. You know what I mean?
So South Africa, though. I mean, you went there to shoot last season as well with Rosa and the other
Rosa
one.
Parks, and we shot. Come on, guys.
Ghost Monument.
Monument.
There we go.
That's the one. Yeah, we shot Ghost Monument and Rosa Parks out there, and that was the second block, and that was amazing. That was probably like my favorite shoot throughout last year. Like that block in particular, that was amazing. It's my first time being in South Africa, and obviously the Rosa Parks episode is my favorite episode. Yeah. Oh yeah. Give it up. I know y'all cried, so y'all can make so much more noise than that. But yeah, so we did it again this year, which was lovely. Yeah, man. I'm trying not to say anything because I am not allowed to say anything. So I'm just like, what can I say? Yeah, I hear you, but when you leak it and it tweets out, you know what I mean? I'm the one that's going back to England, you know what I mean? So like, it's me. You lot are fine. You got the spoilers and that. Why did you tell them? I don't know. They said it was cool. But Yeah, so South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could talk about last year's South Africa, though.
I can talk about South Africa.
With
yeah.
Rosa.
Yeah, what do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, how did you feel making Rosa? Just because it's a iconic story on this side of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And here's a British science fiction TV outfit coming to tell that story. Was there some pressure, perhaps, on how you would tell it right?
It's not so much I think last year was a pressure in itself, just like the whole season, because obviously it's a new showrunner, new doctor, new companions, new time. Everything was just brand new way we approached the show. So touching something that's been nostalgic and it's been, iconic for so many years, and then to come into it brand new and say, you know what, we're going to change everything. We're going to change everything. It's ours, it's brand new. So you're like, I don't want to piss these fans off, so let's make sure we get it right. So I think the pressure's more for that. And I think, when I read the Rosa Parks episode, it was just kind of nice and refreshing. Even though it's sci-fi and, we still had aliens and stuff like that, and we're going back in time. But I just felt like that episode just had so much heart and so much soul and so much weight to it, you know what I mean? Because some of the themes are still kind of relevant today, what was going on, what you see in the media and stuff like that. So to be a part of that story, it was just amazing, man, you know what I mean? Because there was times where, I'm playing Ryan and there's the scene where I'm meeting Rosa Parks, her husband, and Martin Luther King, and I was like, wow. Oh yeah, this is fake. It's fake. It's not real. Do you know what I mean? But it was just amazing to be a part of that. And yeah, man, I'm really proud and honored to be a part of that story, because I think it means so much. And to kind of retouch that story with a new twist, and to also re-educate people who are not familiar with Rosa Parks and what she's done for society and the world and stuff like that. So that was amazing to be a part of that, because my little cousins and nephews and nieces, they don't know the ins and out of Rosa Parks and stuff like that. So to kind of introduce them to her story in an entertaining and touching way was amazing for me, and I'm very proud to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's remarkable how that season plays out with the monsters and villains and everything, and yet when I'm watching that series up to that point, I don't think I ever felt more scared for the Doctor and her friends until you all walk into that restaurant and everyone turns around and sees a black man and a Mexican girl, as they say.
Yeah.
It was a frightening time, and it's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago. It's only 60, 70 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So and it was kind of crazy because it was because we was filming it in South Africa, and the apartheid's only 20, 25 years old. It's still kind of fresh. So to kind of have that racial tension over there, then to touch on that subject while filming, it was just everything you kind of needed was in a weird artistic way. Everything you kind of needed was there in that sense. You know what I mean? And even sometimes I might have. It was weird because it was in that time, Ryan doesn't know no different. I don't know no different. I ain't lived for that time. So to having to censor yourself, having to censor yourself as a person, as your being, to survive in that time was crazy. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you're thinking of those elements and you're thinking, my gran and the people before me kind of had it rough, so you kind of appreciate what they've done. So to even have gone through that and to see what Rose has done and making sure that she does sit there at that time and make sure that she catches the bus and make sure that that part of history is still being made, you just appreciate everything that everyone's done before you so much more. And it just makes me, it just kind of gave me that sense of, honor and proudness, to kind of be in that. So that's why it's always special for me, because I really appreciate everything that everyone's done before me. So the fact that I can be here, sitting with you in Chicago, not having to worry about me being black or anything, you know what I mean? I could just be me. So it's just kind of amazing. So yeah, thank you.
Mark Tonderai directed those 2 episodes. Yeah. He had a very unique and awesome visual style, I thought, especially Ghost Monument. I don't think Doctor Who has ever looked better. How was it working with him?
Me and Mark had this thing that. It was working with your big brother. I was working with your big brother because we had a cool first AD called Fletcher, and Fletcher's from South London, you know what I mean? So he's from my part of town. Obviously, Mark Tonderai's from London, but obviously he lives in the LA now. So it's just nice to have fellow Londoners with you, Do you know what I mean? So like I'll just walk on set and punch Mark in the arm and I'll punch Fletcher and they punch me back. So it was just like that thing, we just beating each other up throughout the whole shoot. Right. But then I kind of took it too far. I kicked Fletcher in the shin and he had like a massive bruise. And I didn't know until like 2 days after. He showed me the bruise. He's like, no, I'm not playing with you no more. He's like, look what you done. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I'm so sorry. Because it looked disgusting, like it was all purple and green, and it was massive. It was like massive. It took up his whole shin. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Then later when I was having lunch, he picked up a chair and threw it at me, and I was like, yo. I was like, I thought we squashed it, bro. I guess not. I guess not. But then it always looks bad because when everyone sees me beating him up and that, he shows them the bruise, like, look what he's doing to me. I'm like, bro, you threw a chair at me at lunch. You know what I mean? But yeah, Mark's amazing. Mark's amazing. So to have Mark on board, his approach is very fun. He's very inclusive. Like, he's a kind of laid back director. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always has this thing where he plays music. You know what I mean? He does this thing at every end of the week, like every Friday, he'll have like a gift, and like we have like, I don't know, like the crew of the week, you know what I mean? So whoever does an amazing job throughout the week, they'll get nominated and they'll get like a prize, whether it'll be like chocolate or something like that, or like, you know, just like little things just to make it fun and fresh. And it was just a fun shoot. So to be in South Africa and to be there and working with Mark, it's cool. And his approach, like every shot, he knows what he wants, like visually. Because I remember, like, I don't know if you guys can remember, there's a bit where me and Graham and Angstrom, I think we're running from the plane when it's crashing. Yeah. So it was like our second day in like South Africa shooting, and Mark was sick. Like, he was like sick. Like, I think he had, I don't know, bronchitis, tonsillitis, one of them things in the throat. Anyway, he had like that, and he was out for the count, and he wasn't on set. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he weren't there, and I was thinking, oh my God. I started panicking. I was thinking, the director's not here, what are we going to do? I mean, we can't cancel the shoot. We're in South Africa, we ain't got a replacement. But because he knows what he wants, he has like a storyboard. So literally, he had a storyboard, and literally the first AD Fletcher just followed his storyboard, like literally from shot to shot to shot to shot to shot without him being there. So I was just amazed. I was thinking, how did you know you wanted that? Like, how did you trust your storyboard without even you being here today? So anyway, like, we trusted the storyboard, and yeah, visually he just knew what he wanted from everything. Like, everything, he just knew how he wanted to shoot it, where everyone was supposed to be, what kind of shots he wanted, and yeah, he's very cool, man. I like Mark a lot.
Does that change the energy though when it's a big scene and you're used to that director being there, and all of a sudden he's not there? Does that sort of like?
It's crazy because like, every block is like a refresh. So you know what I mean? Like, every block, like the first block, you got the, like, we started with Jamie Childs, you know what I mean? His approach was very different, he set the tone of the show, you know what I'm saying? And then the second block we had like Mark Tonderai. But I think what helps it is that obviously it's a new story, especially last block, it was like 10 standalone episodes. We had like a new cast every episode. So to have like a new cast, a new group, and a new director, it's just refreshing. It's not like, oh, what are you guys doing here? What's he doing? The last director didn't do it like that. Even though you still kind of bitch about those things, like, well, he didn't do it like this. I don't know why he's doing it like that. But yeah, it's kind of fresh, and it keeps it fresh. It keeps it fresh. It keeps it fun. So I think if you had like the same director for 10 months, and God forbid you didn't like their style of directing, oh my God, can you imagine that? 10 months of the same guy telling you what to do, but you don't want to do what he wants to do, or what she wants to do, and it's like, Jesus Christ. So it's like, luckily we've had like a great bunch of great directors, very inclusive, very, very open, and there's so much an ensemble. It's about the ensemble, and the the crew are really amazing. The crew helps a bit part of that, because the crew have been there for so long, and they know the show, they know what's going on, so it just feels like you're just a part of the same machine, and it's just going on and going on. But it's like each block you just go a different direction, but still to the same destination, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Just on the topic of directors, we'll move off directors at some point.
Yeah.
Wayne Yip directed
the Christmas special,
and there's a great scene
where
Ryan confronts his father in the diner.
Yeah.
And I just love the way it's shot, because it doesn't flinch away. It's sort of like you basically are on camera on a straight, solid shot for a minute and a half. That must have been tough. No?
You know what? I actually learned my lines really late. Like really, really, really late. Because I knew I had a big scene, but I didn't know it was that big. But because I got it mixed up. But yeah, Wayne's amazing. Wayne's like it was crazy because like I know you're filming it, but even when I watched the episode back, I was like, I didn't know it was so action packed. Like the way his style is, I was like, I wasn't expecting that because he's so laid back. Like he's just so chilled and like he doesn't really describe what he's doing. You just kind of do it and you just kind of trust him to do it. So to see the end result was amazing. But yeah, going back to that scene, yeah, that scene was it was nice, man. It's always kind of nice to kind of have those real emotion moments in Doctor Who, you know, like, you know, we got to put aside running away from aliens. Like sometimes you got to deal with real issues, and that was a real issue for him because obviously you saw that he didn't attend his nan's funeral or Ryan's father's mum's funeral. Yeah. So that was affecting him from the beginning. So to kind of do that scene and kind of let all that frustration out from the first episode all the way to the Christmas special, it's like, yeah, you gonna listen to what I have to say and shut up, listen, and I'm gonna tell you how it is. So it's just kind of nice to have that moment of him almost being a man in a sense, you know what I mean, manning up and just kind of confronting him and letting him know that, you know, I'm not expecting the world from you, but this is what you can do to help or to soothe the situation. And yeah, it's kind of nice. And at that moment, you see Ryan and Graham's relationship grow stronger, and the whole team kind of grows stronger because it's that sense of family. Like they've been holding Ryan down throughout the whole journey, and you know, it's come where he's got a sensitive spot when his dad comes back. It makes him feel uneasy. So the fact that he's confronted him and addressed the issue, yeah, it was kind of nice tackling in that. You know, seeing him step up in that sense. Yeah.
So how did that scene like play out? Was there like a rehearsal thing at all? Like, do you just come in knowing the lines, or
no? So like basically like that was like the last scene of the day. That was like the last scene of the day. So we've done all the scenes before that, and I was like the last scene of the day. Yeah, I believe that was the last scene of the day. Anyway, so I met like Daniel like maybe 2-3 days before. Do you know what I mean? We're catching up. Like he's a really cool guy, whatever. But then I was like, we did that scene. We had like maybe like 5-10 minutes rehearsal. So you go there, the director tells you where to sit or positions it, and like we read it through like twice. Do like a camera rehearsal for the camera, so the cameras and the sound crew are kind of good, so they know what they're doing, and then you just make it happen. Like you just literally just got to produce it there and then. So obviously you would like more time to go over it and make sure you perfect it. But I think what makes that scene so perfect is that it's just raw. You know what I mean? That's like me giving a raw on just like a raw performance of just expressing how he feels. You know what I mean? So it's like if I overdid it and over rehearsed it, it would have been maybe a bit too thought out. You know what I mean? Because like even like when I'm doing the scene, you can see me trying to think of the lines and stuff like that. So like to do that kind of raw and fresh and just let him have it there and then, I think it worked perfectly for that moment. And yeah, I'm really proud of that episode and that moment.
Yeah, it's a good scene.
Thank you very much.
Let's go back to yes. Yes.
Thank you.
to the audition process and you actually getting the role. What was that like?
It was weird because like I remember I was like in LA for like ages, and obviously I wasn't a big Doctor Who fan before, so I didn't really know like, you know, there was a new Doctor or whatever, so I was just kind of out of the loop. And I remember like my agent phoned me saying that, oh yeah, you've got an audition for a show that cannot be named, but I'll let you know, Doctor Who. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, all right, cool. But like, when you see an email, it's going to be under an alias. It's called Plane Hitters. So don't be alarmed thinking it's not Doctor Who. So I was like, all right, cool. And then, yeah, so I've gone in the first time. I went to go see Andy Pryor, the casting director. And I've gone in there, like I'm seeing people that I know before. Everyone's going in for it. They're like, oh, you going in for Doctor Who? I'm like, yeah. You? They're like, yeah, I'm going in as well. And I was like, can you do the accent? I was like, I think so. But anyway, I've gone in there, I've done my audition, I've read. I'm like, yeah, I didn't get that. They didn't like me. And I've left. Like 2-3 weeks later, I've got a call back saying, Tosin, we've got some great news for you. You've got a recall for the show that cannot be named. Doctor Who. And I was like, oh, they called me back. Like, I was like, all right, okay. I didn't think it went well, but it went all right anyway. So cool. I've gone in there now, and I think this time Bradley's been announced that he's going to be a part of the show. Because I'm so ignorant, I thought because Doctor Who was a man, I thought Bradley was going to be the Doctor. So I was like, they went old this time. They went old again. So I was like, okay, cool. So I've gone into the audition, and obviously there's Matt Strevens, there's Chris Chibnall, and there's is it not Tracy?
Andy Pryor was there, perhaps?
No, Andy Pryor was there, obviously, and there was another producer. I can't remember her name. I want to say Tracy. Was it Tracy? Let's just say her name is Tracy.
Tracy Simpson?
Tracy Simpson. Yeah. I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Tracy Simpson. And Jodie was there. And I'm thinking, oh, there's a woman here. Like, okay, she must be just helping out, reading the lines or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. So she's reading the lines or whatever. I'm like, oh, she's pretty good. Like, they should like maybe give her a role or something. Do you know what I'm saying? And then like after the audition, I've like read or whatever, and when I go on auditions, especially like when it's like a big job or whatever, I just try and like play it so cool. Like, because there's times where like I've gone into auditions before and I'm proper nervous and it just messes up my whole read and I might just blank out and like forget. So I've got a trick where it's like, I care, but I don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? So I kind of went in with that attitude and I was like, yeah, man, like, yeah, thank you for the job, man. You know, yeah, cool. No, I haven't watched the show before, but I know he's got like a one, something that's like, no, it's a Sonic True, but yeah. And he's like in a telephone booth, they're like, no, it's a police booth. I'm like, yeah, that's the one. I'm thinking, they are not going to give me this job, boy. They're not going to give me this job. And I've left. And then as I'm leaving, my agents phone me to see how it went or whatever. They're like, yeah, so how did it go? I'm like, yeah, I think I read all right, but I don't think I sold it because I told them I didn't watch the show and that, so I don't think that's what they wanted to hear. And I was like, okay, cool. So when I wrote, I was like, yeah, you never know with these things. I was like, yeah, there was this woman in there. I was like, this woman, she was reading in, like, I thought she was helping out. And it was like, was her name Jodie? I'm like, yeah, that's the woman. She's like, she's the Doctor. I said, no, she can't be. I was like, no, she can't be. They're like, yeah, she is. I was like, oh, that's why she was there. Yeah, I definitely didn't get this job. So I've left and I thought, oh, well, another one bites the dust. Then, they called like, maybe like a week, 2 weeks later max. There was like, you got the job. I was like, how? Like how did I get this job? Like how? Like I didn't do anything they wanted me to do. Like I was thinking how. But then I got the job. Then we did a read, and I know Jodie loves telling the stories. So anyway, like I got the job or whatever. We did our first read. So obviously I knew Mandip from ages ago. Me and Mandip worked together. Obviously I met Jodie at the reading, but I've never met Bradley before. And I think I met Sharon as well because we was reading the first episode, and it's like it starts off as five. There's 5 of us, so like that was like the click. So we did a read, and no, actually, tell her like before that, Jodie rang me to congratulate me on the job. Right. So she rang me to congratulate me on the job, and like because I didn't know her really, so I was just like, like this is the woman that I'm gonna work with. I didn't know her like that yet. And she's phoned me, she's like, oh mate, I'm so happy that you got the job. I can't wait to work with you. It's gonna be great. Banter. I'm like, yeah, cool. I gotta go. She's like, oh, well, I guess I'll see you on set. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll see you on set. Like, I hanged up. And she was like, why did you pie me? Like every time when I bumped her, she's like, why did you pie me? I was like, no, I was just being friendly, but I didn't know you like that. But now I know you. I would never answer the phone like that now. So it's just like a weird thing that I do. Like I just play it so cool before I get a job. But yeah, it's not on purpose, guys. I'm actually a nice guy, as you can see. Full of jokes.
So what was it like making series 12 then, knowing that everyone had already seen series, like the first series that you made, no one had seen. You were completely sort of, shielded from the world, but now people know and what you look like and what you expected. Everything was. How did that change things? Did it change it at all?
Like, it wasn't so much changing. It was just kind of like picking up from where we left off, you know, because, you know, the crew is pretty much the same crew. Obviously, the cast is still the same showrunners and stuff like that. So you're just going in more familiar and knowing everybody. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, we've got a latecomer. She's changing the dynamics. Okay, go ahead, sit down. There you go. Welcome. So yeah, like, it didn't so much change. It was just kind of like picking up from a family, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm familiar with Brad. We all know each other really well. So we all got on really well, so that was fine. But I think there was no pressure as like, it's not new anymore, you know what I mean? It's like, we've come, we've conquered, I hope. And yeah, so we was just approaching it from just picking up from where we left off. And but there wasn't no new pressure. I think the only pressure was there that was like, you know, we still got to make sure we deliver a good series for the audience members. So I'll say the only pressure was like making sure that we deliver, that we improve, and we make it even more entertaining for the audience members that are coming in to watch it the next season. So that's the only pressure, because the pressure before was just like everything was brand new. You know what I mean? Brand new, we're changing the dynamic, we changed the Doctor, and it's just hoping that people accept and like what we've done. So now that we know that they accepted and we liked what we've done, it's just like, all right, cool, let's just crack on and just make it bigger and better. So yeah, not much really changed, to be fair.
Yeah, Chris Chibnall called it last year a recruitment year, I believe, is the phrase that he's been using. And now that's sort of like, now that everyone's sort of on board with what's going on and new and everything, now we can sort of introduce new things, like Cybermen.
Yes.
You saw Cybermen in the trailer. That's not a spoiler. You can talk freely.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler. It was in the trailer, right?
Yeah, it was in the trailer. There's Cybermen in there.
Okay, you watched it. Yeah, so like the Cybermen, like I was actually quite excited because now it's actually, because last year was mostly new monsters and new aliens and stuff like that, other than the dialects in the Christmas New Year special, Christmas special. Yeah. So that was new. Yeah. So to come into this season and like have like the Cybermen and, you know, the Jadoon and stuff like that. So to have like old school villains and nemesis and that, it's like, oh yeah, this is Doctor Who. Like, you know, you kind of feel like this is Doctor Who. You kind of feel like, oh, I'm a part of it now. At least, I worked with the Daleks. I worked with the Cybermen. Like before, it's like, oh, any Cybermen? I was like, no, we didn't even work with them. We didn't even work with them. So to kind of have those old school villains come back and be a part of the show in a great way, actually. Like, they come back in a great way. Like, those episodes when the old nemesis come back, it's like absolutely good episodes. And yeah, it just feels like, yeah, I'm officially in Doctor Who now. Like, I've got my stamp of approval. I'm in. I'm cemented. You can't get rid of me. But yeah, yeah.
Cool. There is a microphone there for anyone who wants to ask Tosin a question. I'll let you all queue up. I have steered away from your participation in another science fiction franchise because I feel it's going to be asked by someone. But I will ask you about Hollyoaks. How about that? About the year and a bit that you spent on that on a daily show. Like what was the churn like? So to make that kind of program,
it was crazy because like I got that job when I was 18. I got when I was 18. Been acting like 2 years. It was at a point where I wanted to go to university, college, as you guys say. And I was acting, and, you know, acting was something that I was good at. Like, I was doing it, I was working, I was getting jobs and that. But obviously, like, me coming from an African background, is like, you need to go and finish your studies. You know what I mean? Like, that was important. So, yeah, then I got this job that took me away from London for, like, 6 months, potentially a year. And then I kind of did that. And even doing, like, soap, there's nothing like it because it's like, you know, you're filming like 5 to 8 scripts at a time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're filming 5 to 8 scripts at a go. Turnover so fast. Everything's changing. The scripts might change on you. Like, literally, I remember there was like a day where I was filming and then one of the writers was literally running. Like, she was running, like, say, like, the door there. She was running. She was like, don't film. Stop. Sorry, guys, I'm so sorry, but we've changed the script here. Learn this. And I was like, yo, I spent all day learning the scene, and it's like, but it's like a skill because everything's so fast, it's so quick. It's like you just learn on the go. And I think for me to start off doing soap was just like a great way to step foot into the industry. It's like, you know, it helps with my line learning. It helps me adapt to changes. It helps me work quicker, working under pressure because, you know, as I'm saying, you're filming 5 to 8 scripts at a time and they've got to go out for a certain period. Where certain shows you kind of have the luxury to work a bit slower, even though TV's still a bit fast, but like soap's a different machine. So doing that for like day in, day out, rapid scripts, it just helps you, just perform and just crack on quicker. Yeah.
All right. First question right there.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Snazzy Snoot, man.
Thank
Snazzy
you.
Snoot, yeah.
Seventh Doctor. So my question is about Witchfinders.
Yes.
And I was intrigued by the way King James was portrayed,
Right.
in particular his reaction to Ryan.
Right.
Is there evidence that King James was in fact homosexual?
I am not the best historian, and that is a bit too far before my time. King James in school, in history, nah, I probably was sleeping through class, so I probably don't know. But yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, it says in the audience the answer is yes.
Yes, so that was our answer. But Alan Cumming was amazing, man. He was absolutely fun to work with. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a legend, isn't it? So a legend in the making. So it was kind of nice to work with him. And he had some amazing stories about like him coming up as a young actor. And Witchfinders was actually the worst episode we've actually filmed. I think that experience filming that, it was just the weather was just horrible. Like, it was just, Do you remember The Beast from the East? Remember the storm last year, like The Beast from the East, the snow? Basically, when we was filming that episode, that thing decided to come along, like, and just mess up everything. Like, we had to shut down filming for a week because it messed up everything. I remember, like, it was like a scene where we're saying goodbye to King James. I don't know if you can remember, like, it's all sunny. Like, it was a cold day, but it was like the weather was like, the sun was out. Then someone was like, oh, it's snowing. I'm like, it's April. Why would it snow? Right. Then like a snowflake hit my head and I was like, oh shit, it's actually snowing. I was like, oh, it's snowing, because then I was like, oh, it's not going to settle. It started settling and then we had to like cancel it. Then we tried to come back to it and then this snowstorm came out of nowhere. Then like the end scene, I remember it was like raining. It was like a night shoot. It was cold. It was raining like non-stop, like pouring down, raining cats and dogs. I was thinking, yeah, they're going to cancel the shoot. They didn't cancel the shoot. Like, we was there all night. I was like, this is horrendous. And then later in April, it decided to get hot. It decided to get extremely hot. And I've got this big old jacket and I'm boiling in the jacket. So it was like, that shoot was just crazy. But to answer your question, I don't know if he's homosexual or not, but the young lady over there said he is, so, you know. Yeah, she said there's a Wikipedia article.
Okay.
So if you've got some spare time, you know, slap on the old laptop, King James, and knock yourself out.
Okay. Well, thank you for flying halfway around the world to be with us today.
Oh, yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
For what it's worth, in the early 70s, they had to do the similar thing where it was like supposed to be nice, and a freak snowstorm happened. Yeah. They didn't cancel it. They basically wrote in a line, oh no, the alien spacecraft created freak weather conditions, and there you go.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, so you are now part of Doctor Who lore as well. It happens to everyone.
They weren't doing that for our show. They was like, no, it's raining, you are going to film this because we ain't got no time.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
We have a lot of sci-fi and franchises here in this country as well as in the UK. Do you have any particular American sci-fi shows you enjoy?
Stranger Things.
Oh.
I think I'm too old though now, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, they're all young and fruitful actors. But Stranger Things is a sci-fi show that I'm really enjoying at the moment. Do you remember Smallville?
Yeah.
I always wanted to be in Smallville, but it's done now, innit? So my dreams are ruined. But what else is there? Sci-fi. Oh, Westworld.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll break my arm right now to be in that show. I'll break it right now. Just if someone hiring, I'll break it right now. I'll collapse it. I'm in love with Westworld at the moment. Yeah, that show I'm really loving. Yeah, thank you.
I'll apologize to everyone that I haven't seen the old series like you haven't.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, you're the first companion to have an invisible disability between the ataxia and as well as just grieving.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how difficult that is for you to have that invisible disability portray through your character without making it the sole definition of who you are as a companion.
Because sometimes you've got to remind them that you've got like, the character's got like the disability and that. They'll be like, guys, you've got to run. I'm like, yo, I've got dyspraxia. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. Or like if we're holding loads of stuff or like I'm doing too much running. And I'm like, well, I don't think Ryan would do that. I think Yaz and Graham would do that because they're perfectly fit and healthy to do that. But I think the most important thing with Ryan that I try to symbolize on the show is that, you know, like despite having, you know, the disability or the disadvantages of not being able to do certain things physically is that, you know, I still get the job done. So it's kind of like a symbol. It's like no matter what differences you've got from someone else, it doesn't mean you can't do what you need to do. There's always a way to get it done, and you just got to try and figure out how to get it done. So yeah, that's what I try to show, and I didn't try to make it a thing where it's like it's holding me back all the time. There's times where, you know, you get slight hints of it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't try and make that thing override the whole character and the soul of Ryan. But yeah, like, there's actually a lot of people with dyspraxia that have been coming up to me and being like, bro, you're my hero. I'm like, what have I done? They're like, I got dyspraxia too. I'm like, oh, sick. Like, so how do you deal with it? I'm like, oh, no, I don't have dyspraxia in real life. No, it's just a character. But like, to still mean a lot to other people, that's amazing, man. So yeah, I'm just happy to shed light on that.
I think you do a great job with it, not letting it overshadow your character, but still pulling it out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a nice one, sweet.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. I was just curious what your favorite funny moment behind the scenes was, either for, you know, the current season or the past season.
It's always going to be Ghost of Monument, right? There's a couple actually, but I think the one that I always think of at the top of my head is like, Bradley has this line when he's like, what is it, garlic? And Bradley's like, if you don't know, Bradley's the most biggest prankster joker ever. Like he's just a bag full of laughs. And we was like in this bit, up the sand bit, right? And he's in the bit with us and he's just rehearsing this line, but he's just taking a piss, right? He's just like, what is it, garlic? No, that's too much. What is it, garlic? What is it, garlic? Like he was doing this for like 25 minutes, yeah, while we're waiting up to shoot. 25, I kid you not, 25 minutes saying, what is it, garlic? Action. Cool, we run down the hill, everyone's saying their lines. It's Bradley's line. Yo, Brad, it's your line. What's the line? What is it, garlic? I'm thinking, bruv, how can you not know the line? The one line you've been saying for 25 minutes and you don't know it. And it's like whenever he says it, like I just start crying with laughter. Like it's so silly, but like it was so funny at the same time. Like I was in bits.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, yeah.
Hello, Tosin.
Hey.
I just wanted to ask, so no idea what's going to happen in the next season.
Yeah.
But my question for you, so hopefully you will be back if in season 13, having no idea what will happen. My question to you is, do you have like a dream, some like dream scenario or something that like your wish list? For example, Peter Capaldi really wanted to meet the Mondasian Cybermen. I'm just wondering for you personally, if there is in the future something that you're looking forward to.
You know what would be cool? Like I always wanted to work with the Weeping Angels, because I remember like when I did watch it, like I always like to do an episode of them because I think they're like proper scary. And imagine if like the Doctor, like everyone kind of swapped bodies. Like imagine if there was like a planet and everyone kind of swapped bodies, or like the Doctor was in Ryan and Ryan was in the Doctor or something. You know what I mean? Like something crazy like that. Like, because I just imagine that's the closest I can get to being the Doctor. You know what I mean? Like That's like the closest. So imagine if like we just swap bodies and I was the Doctor. I wouldn't like to learn all those lines, but being able to like, you know what I mean, take control of the mission fully, that would be like an ideal situation. Shit, I should have pitched that. Like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that last year? I should have pitched that ages ago.
If you come back for season 13, hopefully you can pitch it.
You might be onto something there. Let me text Chris right now. I got this idea.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, man.
Hi. So
Hey.
like, I only started recently getting into Doctor Who, so I as well haven't seen the older episodes.
Yeah,
Is that
seasons,
right?
episodes.
Yeah. But were there any spots or like filming areas that caused like problems or was like harder because you hadn't seen it?
Not really, but like sometimes they might say something and I'm like, oh, what is that? Like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh no, because of the last season. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So even if you don't know anything, because like the crew and the team, they've all been in the show longer than what it is, like longer than I've been there. So you always got this like encyclopedic of knowledge around you. You know what I mean? So if you don't know something, someone will always fill you in. And it's like, I don't know, like my memory, like it's a lot of stuff. Like you got to remember a lot of stuff, a lot of like names, a lot of planets, a lot of aliens, races, characters. Like there's always something. Remember, it's been going on for like 60 years. I've been in the show for 2 years. Like I'm not going to remember anything. Do you know what I mean? But I remember there was one time like, I think they said something. This is in the recent season. They said something. And then I think we said that thing in like the first episode. But I just couldn't remember. And it came up in one of the later episodes, and they was like, oh, this thing. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, I was like, what is that? And everyone kind of looked at me like, bro, we filmed this. I was like, no, I was just seeing if you lot knew what was going on. But anyway, as you were saying, but yeah, like the show is so entertaining, but there's so much technical aspects of it. Like, I can't remember everything. Like, I can't. That's why you have the lovely team and producers to just kind of just give you a little prompt of information when you need it, just when you need it. But yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No worries.
Hey, Tosin.
Hey.
Okay, so technically this is like your first real convention.
Yeah.
With people who really love you.
Thank you.
So one, welcome to Chicago. And
Thank
welcome
you.
to Chicago TARDIS. What I wanted to know is how prepared have they made you for the type of celebrity that you're going to get in America? Because I know that you've seen Doctor Who, heard about Doctor Who from the UK.
Yeah.
But nobody tells you what to prepare for when you get here.
Yeah.
So have they told you about...
It's like, obviously we know, like, growing up in England or whatever, like, you know the show or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You know the show, you know the fans are there, like, that's cool. And as I've been approached with the show, they're like, yeah, like, you know, it's doing numbers over in America, like, it's growing. This show just bought it, AMC just bought it. And I'm like, okay, cool. But you never know, like, you never know the real, you don't know until you go there. Do you know what I mean? And I think San Diego was like the first kind of insight we got there. Do you know what I mean? Because like we're in this massive room, there's thousands of people. The show's not even out yet, but people are in the Doctor Who costumes. I'm like, bruv, like halfway through the shoot, where did you get that? Do you know what I mean? Like where did you even? So like to kind of see it firsthand is always kind of amazing. So it's like you can. They can tell you stuff, but you're not really prepared. Do you know what I mean? Like to be here in Chicago in a room full of you people right now, it's just like, it's still kind of like shocking. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know. And I think I've seen some of you while I was having breakfast and that. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, I don't think they know it's me. I don't think they know it's me. Yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Yeah, I saw you guys. I saw it. And I saw you having breakfast as well. So like, I've seen it. But it's like, you always kind of think they know you, then you're like, no, I'm being an arsehole. They don't know me. I'm not that famous, but like they do. Do you know what I mean? But you can never prepare for it until you're really there. So you just kind of have to go with the flow, sort of thing.
And are you gonna be on like shirts and they're gonna have like action figures with you? Because I could buy an action figure with you. I don't know when I'm gonna see you again.
I'm gonna be about, man. I'm gonna be about. I got family in Chicago, so whenever you invite me, it's a trip to go see my family and stuff like that as well. So I try and use the two, but I think so. I think all of that's in the works. I think there should be around sometime next year. Cool. Can't confirm, can't deny, but I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not. So sometime in the near future, something should be arriving soon. We hope.
Thanks.
No worries. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
So I have two questions. They're both probably going to be very short answers because I know you can't say a lot about the next season. I'll
try and elongate as much as I can.
So if you could describe the next season in just like one word, spoiler free, what would it be?
Epic, you know?
Yeah.
Epic, man. Epic. As you guys know, we've got some familiar faces coming back, the Judoon and the Cybermen. We've got some amazing guests, as you guys might have heard of. We've got Lenny Henry and we've got the legendary Stephen Fry as well. And yeah, man, I think like last year, you know, we tried to, up the standards. We've changed the approach, the way we shoot it, to make it more cinematic, to make it more film-like. And I think this year we're just taking all those elements that we did last year and just improving them. So there's a lot more explosions, a lot more action. You know, the standards is quite higher. Do you know what I mean? It's just epic, man. I'm really looking forward for you guys to seeing it because I did have real fun shooting it this year. So yeah, epic.
And then what is your, no spoilers, but what's your favorite episode from the upcoming season so we know when we watch it?
Give us a number.
Yeah, just a number.
All right, there's this episode, where we arrive in the TARDIS somewhere, and I'm with it's Ryan, it's Graham, it's Yaz, it's the Doctor, and some other people. Yeah. And then we meet these people. We're like, "Hey, what's up?" She's like, "I'm the Doctor," and he's like, "I'm Ryan, I'm Graham, I'm Yaz," and then something crazy is happening around that time, and we're like, we gotta help them. And then as we're figuring out to help them, something happens. We're like, uh-oh. And then we just try and figure out what happens. That episode is great, I'm telling you. It's gonna knock your socks off.
Can't wait to see it. Tosin Cole, everybody.
Thank you everyone for having me. Cheers.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com, follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro, subscribe to us on iTunes, and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.